Hey guys, Tomboy601, and today, let's talk carriers. They've been out for coming on the week, and I haven't really given my thoughts or opinions on them, so I figured this is going to be one of those videos where I do. But before we do that, let's go ahead and talk comment of the day. Comment of the day goes out to someone who leaves a comment on one of our previous videos, and today's comment of the day goes out to Anna Buhina. He or she says, when Spartan was doing the video about the Iowa, he was running a full dispersion build without plotting room. Maybe it's the commander skill or something. And yeah, so if you guys didn't check out, yesterday we had our third episode of our World of Warships Legends Mythbusters, where I tested the dispersion on the Iowa. The main complaint I got from it was I wasn't using a full dispersion build. Well, here's the problem. I don't have a Azure Lane Scharnhorst. While I may be a CC, I'm a relative new one, so I didn't get gifted all of the Azure Lane commanders. And as a result, me being a normal person, I didn't spend all my money to get all of the Azure Lane commanders. I know, shocker, before all this, I didn't spend money on this game, and I still really don't try to spend much money in this game. But, you know, being a community contributor now has certain benefits, and one of them is getting those commanders, and sadly, I don't have them. So I wasn't able to test the full Spartan build of the Iowa. Hopefully, maybe at some point, I will be able to do that in the future. Okay, let's talk carriers. And the first thing I want to talk about is I think it's really important that you don't boost through them, because carriers are such a different kind of gameplay. I think you're doing a disservice to yourself if you are boosting through the tiers on them, especially if you're going straight for a tier 7 and buying the tier 7. I think you are doing a large disservice to yourself, because you do really need to relearn how to play the game as a carrier, because I'm even learning this as I go, is there is some mental blockers that you haven't really thought about that you end up causing. And like, one of the things I noticed was like, you need to learn to look at the minimap in a completely different way and to concentrate and to be able to figure out what the enemy carrier is doing, what the enemy is doing overall, and finding where your skills are the best placed. And I think you don't really learn to do that if you boost yourself straight to tier 7 and you end up just losing chunks of money, because, spoiler alert, playing a carrier can get a little challenging, especially if you're trying to get decent amounts of XP. They do not seem to have a very good XP earn rate, and as such, don't really make the money to be able to sustain themselves at the higher tier. It feels like it is definitely a difference and a challenge. The other thing that I notice is you do also just kind of need to relearn how to play the game, and how to maneuver around the map. Like in this case, like, I just maneuvered around that large mountain. Fun fact, you can just fly over it. Like, there are a lot of things where you're like, oh, I'm so used to the only paths on straight is I have to go through one of 3 lanes. Well, congratulations, you're in a fucking plane. You can fly over the lanes now. So that's one of the things, like, I'm noticing there are things that I'm picking up on. The other thing is just the counterplay. So once you hit tier 5, you get the anti-aircraft, you get your fighter squadrons that you can call into selected locations. And those are super useful. And I found myself determining how good the enemy carrier commander is by how well he places it. I was in a different game, and we basically, at the opening, we both flew at each other. And then right before we were about to hit each other, both dropped our anti-air patrols and turned out, and then, you know, of course we didn't do any, our anti-air patrols didn't do anything, because we both knew what we were doing. Like, we both tried to counterplay each other. And that's another thing that you're going to have to do, is keep track of, oh, I see he's really picking on these guys over here. Let me go drop an anti-air, let me go drop a fighter squadron over here to help protect my team, and then let me go make a bomb run on this. And like, developing that skill, and I'm going to call it a hyperactive mind, because you're going to need to be able to juggle tasks and ideas and priorities on a moment-to-moment basis, and judge that based on what is best for your team. And if you boost all the way to 7, I don't think you will have developed it, and you are only doing yourself a tier 7. I think that is one of the nice things with starting out all the way at tier 3 is the planes are so slow. You are forced to take a minute. You are forced to slow down the game mentally and go, okay, this is what's going on. This ship is moving here. This ship is moving here. This is how I need to play this. And doing that, you're going to notice, okay, these are the routes ships take. This is, okay, this guy's going through this. He's kind of hugging the island. I want to take out my torpedo bomber because he's reduced his maneuverability in that area. Or dive, like, having that mental wherewithal of, oh, I've seen this before. The enemy's done this. And at the lower tiers, you have that moment to think. You have that moment to learn, to analyze, to make the mistake. Where I feel like at tier 7, you don't really, just because things are popping off. AA is going crazy. Things are going, and you don't have that time to learn. So yeah, that's my little soapbox on boosting in carriers and carrier gameplay. Now, as far as how the carriers are going, I do think right now, XP wise, they are a little underpowered. Damage wise, I think I'm fine with where they are. They are the burn utility. They are helping to hunt down destroyers when you're in a team. I like the function that they are playing already. What I think needs to change is that XP earn rate. I think maybe they need a boost in spotting XP. It would be wonderful if Wargaming could give a spotting ribbons or show a live XP ticker so you know when you are spotting people. Like, if you could get an indicator saying, hey, so you know you're spotting this enemy for your team right now, doing sorts of things like that would be really helpful to the carrier player, because that's where it feels like the major source of their XP should be coming from, is that ability to pick it up and go, oh, okay, this is how I'm earning it. And right now, the XP rates are just very, very down low. Even when you have a really good game, you get there and you're like, ooh, that I thought I did better. But XP is XP, and I guess that's what I'm getting. Beyond that, the other weird thing I noticed is carriers can't use the battle boosters. So of the boosters, I'm sure you're aware there's like the XP, the whatever. The light green one or the mint colored one at the far end, carriers can't equip for some reason. Now, I understand like the epic one, it decreases is it fire rate on the main battery? It does something with your main battery, and you don't have a main battery on a carrier, so that makes sense. But like, you have consumables, and the middle one helps recharge consumables, and it helps boost speed, which would be nice in a carrier, because I don't know if you played the Langley, but woo-wee, that's a slow ship right there. Once you get in trouble, it's bad. You don't want to be caught out in that thing, because you can't outrun anything. It's terrible. But yeah, those are my main thoughts with carriers right now. I think in the state they are, damage-wise, they are doing fine. They're definitely fulfilling a role. They are a new counter to destroyers, but not too unfair. I've been playing a good number of matches in destroyers, and I definitely enjoy the new counterplay that's going on there. Like, yes, I have to adjust. I can't beeline. I can see a ship out in the distance. I can see a battleship out in the distance and go, okay, that's my new target, and start making my way to make that torpedo run, and notice that there's planes on the way, and guess what? I have to deviate my course, and I need to realize what the range of my AA is, and you know, there are things that happen where you have to kind of keep in mind with carriers now, which I kind of like. The one thing I'm not really liking about carrier battles is they seem to go on forever. It definitely turns carrier rounds have become sort of a game of attrition. The matches are matches of attrition, where once your carrier is up, or once your carrier is down, you feel like you lost. It's much more traditional. But if your carrier is playing smart and they are one of the last ships up, it is a war of attrition if you have one that's hiding. And that's one of the things, is like, carriers are really good at hiding, but at the end of a match, when it's coming down to 2 aircraft carriers and 2 battleships, it is so slow. It is so slow. I don't know the solution for it, because I think the aircraft carriers do need decent concealment to not be blown out of the water at in the middle of the match or at the early game, but there does need to be some sort of fix to help shorten up the end parts of matches, because there's times where you're like, it's the aircraft carrier and 5 other ships. We know who's winning, right? And half the time you get a aircraft carrier commander who's like, he understands that they've lost, there's no thing. He's just going to charge out, let you be killed. And then there's the one who's just going to run to the corner, and you're going to have to go chase him down. And like, that isn't a satisfying gameplay loop. And we're here to play a game, and we're here to hopefully have a satisfying game, and that isn't a satisfying game. So yeah, those are my major thoughts on carriers. What about you guys? What do you guys think about carriers? Let me know down in the comments below. Are you enjoying them? Are you going Japanese, or are you going American? What branch of carriers are you wanting to see next? I'm interested. I'm already happy with my American ones. I should try out the Japanese ones, because if we look at this game, I got a lot of torpedo hits, and torpedoes on the Japanese ones are a lot better, and their aircraft carriers seem to be a lot better. But I'm an American. I'm gonna use my American ships. Damn it. So yeah, guys, my name is Homeboy601. I hope you have a great rest of your day. Reminder: we are giving away a Tier 4, a Tier 5, and a Tier 6 premium. Info for that giveaway down in the comments below as usual. Guys, I hope you have a great rest of your day. See ya.